Hey there, Mike Dunn with Gamingtrend here at Gen Con 2024. And we're at the Spinmaster booth checking out a new award winner for this year's Best of Gen Con, Comic Hunters. Now, this is a game I've been looking forward to for a while. Erica here is going to give us a little rundown of the game. Erica, tell us about Comic Hunters.
All right, so in this game, we're going to be trying to collect the different comic heroes, and every game we're going to reset to maybe who is a little more valuable. So in this game right now, if we were going after, we know that Captain America is pretty valuable. The next stage down here is a little less so, and these guys even less. Because there's a really nice compounding bonus here as your collections get larger and larger. So you're trying to push to get as many of that type as you can.
Nice.
But that's not the only thing you're looking for because cards have more than one type of information on them. What we have is something called highlights. Now, there are 5 types of highlights, but we play 3. So the game will always change what you're looking for. In this case, we're looking for number 1s, first appearances, and their new outfits, like a new look. As you gain cards, they're going to have symbols on them. Sometimes they match that, and if they do, you are going to be able to start moving up on this track. This track is whoever's in the lead will get 15 points. Then we have a second, third, and fourth place. So you're kind of chasing each other to keep pushing those 3 different tracks up. In this game, we're going to be playing through a few different ways. There's actually 3 sections we'll be playing through, 3 stages. And they're going to be different combinations of up to 4 games. We'll play 3 of them each time. We are going to be demoing the first bit of the game, which is going to take us through the store, the flea market, the convention, and then we're going to practice just really quickly how would we sort of make the beginning of our collection. The store is a really easy game. It is a pick and pass where I'm going to give everybody a hand of 4. What we're going to do is look at them, keep one, put it down, and pass the hand. As we pass, we'll end up with 4 cards, and we'll end up doing this one more time in the game later on where we'll just pass the opposite direction.
It's like a draft.
It is a very, very simple draft. So it would look like this. We would have 4 cards each. For example, we look at them, go, oh, I really want an Iron Man because you know what? He's actually looking pretty good. And it's got one of those other symbols I'm looking for. I really like this card. I'm going to hang on to him. Everything else is going to have to go to my neighbor.
So I would pick this one, right? Because not only does it have Captain America, but it has Iron Man.
And so that's 2 possibilities for which set that could be joining right now as a collection. That could be part of the Iron Man collection, or it can be part of the Captain America collection. And the nice thing is when you get to the assembly, you can actually start to rearrange as you play the game because there is, as I said, those nice tipping points up here. So if you had, let's say, 6 of the Captain Americas, but you only had, let's say, 4 of the Iron Man, if this guy moved over 1, now you just double both of these.
There you go.
So there is a rearrange option as you keep going, but you have to have bought your cards already.
Excellent. I love the actual covers on this. This is one of my favorite things that I noticed about this game when I was looking at it before we came to the show. I know I said this earlier. I actually have a bunch of these issues, so
I do too.
Very, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, and so we go through almost basically all the major eras of the Marvel comics up to pretty current stuff. The values are based on their rarities, like how old they are. So what's going to happen is this number does mean something. If I want to hang on to this card at the end, I need to afford it. What that means is I need at least another card to be able to purchase it. So this card is the one I'm keeping. This is the one I'm spending in order to keep it. And so you're gonna see what that means as we keep collecting. All right, so the first game, really simple pick and pass draft. The next game we're gonna do is a little different. In this game, you're going to, and player counts will adjust this grid ever so slightly. We're pretending we're playing a 4-player game. Once we get to the flea market, this acts a little differently. You have a choice on your turn.
Okay.
You may take the top card and add it to one of these 4 rows, or you can take a whole row. But once you do, you are out of picking anymore.
Okay.
The rows can go up to 4 long, and then they have to stop.
So ideally, you want to wait. And
You want to wait, but maybe not wait too long. You also have to be careful how you combo them. So if I was to pull this guy up, and I can see that it's actually going to be a Doctor Strange. He's somewhere in the middle, but I probably don't want to add it if I had a Captain America here, right? Or if I think there's too many symbols matching. So I don't know. I'm going to throw him down here because that's not anything super exciting right now.
It's a great issue, though.
And then you would get to do the same thing.
All right.
Your choices. Do you
Let's
want that
see.
low or you're not in?
Daredevil. So yeah, looks like
So it's a Black Widow, but it
Widow.
is going to be a new look. So it does count at least for a highlight.
Yep. Oh, that's true. That's true. Well, you know what? That seems like it'd be cool.
And that's going to make that line kind of enticing.
Yes,
so
it is.
we'll keep going and deciding where we're adding. But let's say, for example, I made something that looks like this, and you're like, oh, I like that.
Right?
Instead of placing on your turn, you're going to take the whole line.
Yeah.
We would continue going through with the rest of the players. If you're the last one to go, you'll take one of the remaining lines, but you won't add.
Okay. Very
Okay.
cool. Very cool.
And so what you've now gotten is you now have some from the 1 deck, and you now have some from the 2 deck.
Yeah.
So it eases you nicely into the game.
Excellent. Excellent.
And we're ready to go to the convention now. So, I mean, we're already at one. Let's play another one.
Let's do it.
This deck is a combination of 3 different decks put together. It'll be adjusted slightly for player count, but it means you have a choice between comics that are 1, 2s, and 3s now. 3s are more expensive, but they're also really good to get to spend with because they're high value. So they're worth a lot, but they're almost kind of like getting a lot of money too. So we're going to do this. This one, the best way to describe it is kind of like a slide puzzle. I'm going to set up a grid of 5x5 with the middle missing, and I'll show you a visual to make this make sense just a little bit more. So when I set up this grid, you can actually move one card as far as you like within a legal pattern so that you can move it to take as many as you of the same typing as in one row.
Okay.
As long as it doesn't leave the grid or go diagonal.
Move this right here so we can. All right. So yeah, it's like a sliding puzzle.
So that's what I say. It's the best way
Yeah.
to describe it is like a sliding puzzle, which people are vaguely used to.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to set this grid up. And I'll try to make it tight to the table. There will be remaining cards. That's okay. You end up playing the convention more than once, and you'll keep adding cards too.
Excellent.
So let's get this set up. Oh, we got lots of 3s to start. We can flip some of these around to make them easier to see. The middle is blank, so we already have a little bit of movement.
That one reads some comics.
All right.
See, so there's probably like a lot of golden age stuff in the 3s. Huh?
Yes, you'll have a lot of fun looking through these covers. I have to say, Thor and Doctor Strange get pretty fabulous through certain decades.
Excellent. Yeah, like I remember that was an interesting
You'll love the
one.
hair. You'll love
Yeah.
the hair. Alrighty, so what we're going to be doing now is let's pretend you were the first player.
Okay.
This will work as a snake draft. We'll all get to go once, and then as being last, I will then be first to go back around. We'll get to pick 2 heroes, that means. So in this game, you kind of want to optimize what you're doing as best you can. So, for example, if I look at this one here and I'm like, oh, there's a decent amount of, let's say, Black Panther, but I'm probably not going for him. You know, you're going to look to see what you can maximize. So, for example, you might go this row and go, I see 3 Thors.
Yeah.
And what you would do then is claim all the Thors through this line.
Just the Thors.
Just one hero at a time.
Let's do that. All right.
And now that you've done that, you see how you've made more space?
Oh, I see.
So now I have the opportunity to maneuver things a little differently,
Okay.
right? So then I'm going to look to see if I can optimize something.
I like the way these cards feel too. It's very nice.
We had a nice linen finish
Yeah.
on them. Ooh, I really kind of want a Captain America. It's not a lot in there for me.
Yeah.
Do I have a Spider-Man? Is a question.
No, there's a Spider-Man right there.
Let's
Spider-Man right
try.
there.
Okay, I'm loving the amount of Doctor Strange over here. So I'm going for Strange, and I also get a nice double up there.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So I'm going to do that. We would let the other 2 people go. Last person in line would be first to go again, and then we'd move back.
Okay.
So then I would go again, and then you would end up being last. So now I'm going to look to see again if I can kind of get a better optimization here. See Black Widow here. I don't want to repeat in that one. I'll just do a slide to see if I can. Okay, let's say that I'm going for Iron Man. I'm going to go like this. So now that I actually have 2 Iron Mans in that room.
Very cool. Okay. All right. And let's see. We got. What can I do? This
Absolutely.
and take the Thors.
So as long as it never leaves the grid or goes on a diagonal, it is a legal move.
So as you can see, I have cleaned up on Thors this round.
Which is great.
Yeah.
So when we go to assemble a collection, and we're going to talk about that actually now, 'cause that's where we're at.
Okay.
What we're going to be looking for is as long as you have 2 or more of one character, it is officially a collection. So you can buy things that are not collections, but they won't count for anything until you actually have that minimum.
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about how do you buy your collection. We have these cards in front of us, and you're going to notice they have very different values on them. That's how much they cost. What you want to do now is go through your cards. Let's pretend I have a few more. Decide which ones you really want to keep because the other ones you're going to use to afford it.
Okay.
So let's say that I really want to work on this set right here of Doctor Strange, and maybe I feel really good about this set. I have to be realistic about what I can afford though, because this set right here is worth 5, so I'd have to have 5 to afford it, and this set right here is worth 6. Well, the ones I don't want are only worth 3.
Ah.
So I have to really think about which ones I'm going for. So if I was going to be more realistic,
So just because it's in your hand doesn't mean you
it's not
actually
yours
have it.
officially yet.
Ah, okay.
There is one more trick to this. So let's say that I'm like, okay, I'm definitely going for that. That's going to cost me 6. There's my 6. Okay, and you'll discard what you don't do, but I've officially bought this. I have one other thing I can do though. I can hang on to up to 2 cards I've not purchased to carry through to the next round. Because I really want them, but I can't afford them yet. It's sort of like you put them on hold. Now, because I've purchased these, I can now go up on this highlight track. They're officially mine. And if you look here, I actually have 2 new costumes.
Oh, yeah.
I officially can be on this board, and let's say I was this color. I now have 2.
Right.
And since if you're not on that track, I am automatically winning.
Ah, okay.
Okay. And so there's some good points here too, especially since there's 3 tracks you can run.
Ah, I see. All right.
And so that would
Yeah, let me
Yeah, you try by.
for some cards out here. So got these Thor issues. That is a total of 8.
So you need 8 to afford it.
So I'm like, well, these are good Thor issues, but that's 6, and then I'll straighten that one, and that'll be 8.
And then we'll discard. But you can hang on to that one to go into the next round, up to 2.
You know what? I think I might. Would it make sense for me to hang on to a Thor still, or is that collection?
You can add to it. So
Add to it. Okay.
when you get to the next phase, and we do have 2 more phases after this, you can keep building because you really want to push this track.
All right, so I'm gonna hang on to that one.
Yeah. So right now, you already qualify for the 4-point bonus. The minute you add 2 more of those, that 4 turns into 8.
Nice. Okay.
And so there is a really nice doubling when you pass those thresholds.
And then I got a first here and a first here.
So you actually are going to exist on 2 tracks now.
Yes.
You have a first appearance and a first edition, and I'm currently not on those tracks.
Nice.
So if I want to catch up with you, I have to think maybe a little differently about what I'm getting next round.
Very nice.
Because otherwise, you're getting all the points.
Yeah.
And then the only game you didn't see here is the auction.
I was wondering what this track was for here.
So at the beginning of the game, we all start with an automatic 15 points. The auction happens twice in this game. The auction is going to end up being a line of cards down the middle. It does configure differently for different players. But what you're effectively doing is wagering, like, how many points are you willing to spend to buy that line? Now, whatever you still have here at the end of the game is your points to keep. So you do have to think about that a little bit. And there's 2 auction phases. So do you want to spend everything at once? Do you want to hang on for the second phase? Are you just keeping your points for the end? There is a very small rules clarification we did find in the rule book because it is translated from Portuguese. For this game specifically, only if you are the last player to go, the rules accidentally say that you pay the value of the card instead of the quantity. It should be the quantity. If there's 3 cards there, it's 3. If there's 4 cards there, it's 4.
That's an important distinction.
It's the only mistranslation, so it's already been caught.
Right.
So this game is originally a Brazilian game. It was very popular in Brazil a few years ago. This is the first English release. So it did have to be translated for Portuguese.
Yeah, fantastic, fantastic. And then whoever has the most points wins?
Yeah, so hang on, let me get the score pad here. And I'll show you exactly what we're scoring. We have this lovely score pad here. So we have collection size. This is basically how many heroes you have in your collection.
Okay.
And again, the more you have, the bigger those chips because they keep doubling. We have a collection variedness, and that's this chart over here. And this is going to give you just how many different types you have.
Okay.
The next big one is this is your secret stash. Whatever you did not spend here is your points in the end. So it's a little bump. Then we have our 3 highlight tracks. So you get to score each one. You really hope you bump this up at this point because they can be worth some nice points. And then you add them all together.
Excellent.
So it's basically this, and these added together.
So I like it because like you can decide to go heavy on one and not have to worry about the other and still be competitive.
Absolutely.
Right.
You don't have to have the same strategy and you can change strategies, right? Because there are reasons you might want to have more of something or more variety of something, right? Or even intentionally chase the key first.
Awesome, awesome.
Or just to want to register in each just to get a few points.
Well, this looks great, and I can't wait to play it. This is so cool. If you're a big comic nerd like I am, you're gonna love this game, especially if you were a big Marvel fan in the 80s and 90s and beyond. Now, this is the first time this game has been available in the U.S.
It is. So you would had to have imported it for lots and lots of money from Brazil and then translated it. We do work with Marvel quite a bit, so we ended up working to make it come to North America.
Very nice, very nice.
And as I said, you get to mix and match your game as you go. It can be anything different. This is also special editions, versus, and you can keep changing what you're scoring.
Now, will this be available at local game stores soon?
It should be. I believe it's already on Barnes and Nobles, but I do not doubt it's going to keep steamrolling from there.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you so much. Comic Hunters, be on the lookout for it. And we'll have more coverage of this game as time goes on. Of course, they won one of our Best of Gen Con awards, so we'll definitely be keeping an eye on it. Thank you so much.
No.